Hi guys, hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope everybody's doing great. Um, God willing, in this material we're going to focus on Headway Academic Skills, listening, speaking and study skills, level 3, unit 1. And this material has been created especially for students of College of Nursing first year students. So this material is not specified for any other college or any other departments from University of Suleimani. This is Shakar Salah from College of Nursing, the practical teacher. Okay, so the theme of this unit is learning and intelligence. Learning and intelligence, unit 1. Well, I told you University of Suleimani, College of Nursing. This is only for first year students, and that's the date 24th of December 2020. And our outline for this unit, we will be focusing on listening for gist, listening for specific information, defining terms, understanding the language of graphs, which is very important, taking turns in discussion, and final point to focus on is going to be using dictionary. Interesting. Okay, so let's start. I want you guys to have your books opened in front of you. Have your books opened and go to the first page, learning and intelligence. Let's make a brainstorm at the beginning. Discuss these statements. What do you think about each one? What are the study habits of successful students? Okay, so what do you think that the successful students usually do? They always do what? How do they arrange their time? How do they study? How do they plan? What are their targets? What should be done? Okay, what about the second point? What are the habits of unsuccessful students? So I want you to pause the video and think of these points. What are the things that unsuccessful students will do? Okay, what are their aims? How do they spend their times? Do they have any plan? What are the habits? What are the things that they usually do? What are the things that they don't do? Fair enough. So I want you to pause the video and speak about these points for 2 minutes. The first point 2 minutes, the second point 2 minutes, and finally the third point is very, very interesting. Is intelligence inherited from parents, or is it learned? What do you think about this? Some people think like there are families that 2 or 3 members of the family, like brothers and sisters, and they're all doctors and engineers. They all got high marks in grade 12 and they're successful people. You know, is there a relation? Is there like a connection between that? Like you're from the parents, you're from a father or a mother who are intelligent, so you are intelligent as well. Or your father has no certificate, your father is not educated, it means you can't be educated, you can't be an intelligent person. So does it really worth it to try? Does it really worth it to read books and study hard? Or it's in your blood, it's in your genes? What do you think? So pause the video and talk about this. Tell me, what do you think? Listening for gist. This is the first point to talk about. Listening for gist. Sometimes a listener may just want to get a general idea of what the speaker is saying, not detailed information. So here you don't listen to for example, the places. You don't listen to the numbers. You don't listen to the names. You don't listen to a specific point. No, here you just listen to get the general idea, to get the most important point, to know what was it about, what is the speaker saying generally, really. So you don't focus on the specific points, the specific data, or any specific or statistical analysis data or points. You only focus on the general thing, and that's it. How can I do this? A student might say, okay, Mr. Shakar, I know what do you mean by listening for gist, but how can I do this? You are the teacher, so you have to answer this question. I have this question for you. Well, I included 2 points for you guys. When the learner tries to understand what is happening, even he or she can't understand every phrase or sentence. So you should understand what is happening, only what is happening. You don't have to understand every phrase or every sentence or every single word. Okay? So you may not understand the every single word, and still you get the gist. This is what I mean. The second point, the learner is trying to pick up the keywords, intonation, and other clues as to make a guess at the meaning. So you have to be focusing on the keywords, the most important words, the words that's been repeated more than once, and also intonation, the falling intonation, the rising intonation. These are very important, guys. And other clues, like sometimes a picture, sometimes the title, sometimes a kind of graph or a table. And these things may tell you about the gist. Next, listening for specific information. And if you go to the book, if you go to the page of this one, listening for specific information, I picked this from your book. That it's very, very important. What is listening for specific information? So when you listen to a recording, an audio, or English people speaking, when you listen to them, sometimes you want to know something. You look for something, specific thing. Okay? So here you may want to know the date. You may want to know the time or the place or a fact or a name. So you listen to get something, specific thing. You don't listen to know what are they talking about. No, you listen in order to learn or to get one single information that you need. Okay, so let me read what I have told you guys. When you listen for specific information, you need to have some idea of what you are listening for before you listen and while you're listening. So the thing, you need to have some idea of what you are listening for. This is very important, guys. You need to know what are you listening for before you listen. So before you play the audio, before you listen, you have to read the questions. You have to know what are you going to listen to. And you have to know what are the information that you need, that you want to get, that you want to absorb. Fair enough. And sometimes you do this at the time of listening. Like you have a list of some questions, and then you listen, and then at the time of listening, you read the questions. This is also a very important point that you have to focus on. And I want you to read these points in the book, or you can even read it in the slides. The times and the dates and the facts and the figures, main points in a list, very important. Argument, a line of reasoning, like he says, why this is like that, because, well, the thing that comes after the because is very important. Important information is often signaled by a choice of words. So usually the most important points are, for example, there's an example in the book that you have to listen to the advices. Before each advice, there's a signal. So usually the things that you are listening for, that you need, the specific information that you look for, are usually preceded, also it means initially there is a signal, preceded by a signal. There is a signal before them. So you have, whenever you listen and you hear the signal, you have to be fast and you have to be focusing and you have to concentrate upon what's coming after the signal, and that's a very important information that you need. Or sometimes the speaker is slowed down, or the voice is turning low. Like sometimes I raise my voice, sometimes I lower my voice. So you have to focus on each, these are also very important. Next, defining terms, like when we talk about academics, guys, when we talk about academic work, students are often expected to give definitions of keywords. So there is a keyword, you have to define that keyword so that people understand, so that the participants, so that the audience understand what you talk about. And you have to also focus. Okay, so sorry guys for the interruption. Somebody knocked at the window of my room, and I actually got interrupted. Well, I said that you have to define, you have to make yourself clear, and you have to define the terms, and like you have to make sure that everybody understands the terms, the most important keywords. I've been to places, I've been to presentations, like the students were presenting a point. I was listening until the end. I didn't know what was the topic. Believe me, I didn't know what was the main idea, because they didn't make it clear. They didn't make any definition. So first of all, you have to define the term. You have to define the most important keywords. There may be some words that people don't understand, that the audience, that the people that you are speaking to, they don't understand that. So you have to slow down and define that term, define that word. You have to, like, for example, there's a word book. You have to define the word book. People don't understand book, so you have to define it. Like, book is like some page about one subject between two hard covers. People read it. Now, everybody understands what's books. But if you don't say this, people may not understand what are you talking about until the end of the, until the end of the presentation. So whenever you do a presentation or whenever you do an academic work, you have to define the terms, the most important terms, especially medical terms. That will be your concern. In the study skill, I gave you guys the study skill from the book, which is very important. It's just a repetition of the points that I mentioned, like what is intelligence? What do you mean by intelligent person? You have to clarify this. You have to explain this to the audience. Understanding the language of graphs. Well, I told you guys to develop the language to describe statistical displays. Whenever you have a statistical, let's say, information, you have to make like a graph. Okay, it's very important to understand the terminology relevant to the particular display, to the particular graph. Words like vertical axis, horizontal axis, curve, distribution, peak, range. These words are important. You have to understand them and you have to know them, and you have to explain, like, the vertical axis shows what, the horizontal axis signals what, okay, it tells the people what, and the curve shows what, okay, and the peak means what, okay. So these are very important, guys. They should explicitly use key terms and features of displays. So I really like students when they use graphs and such kind of like charts. Taking turns in discussion. We studied this in the classroom, but I'm gonna repeat it for you guys. Taking turn occurs in a conversation when one person listens while the others speak. Like I speak to you, you should listen. Whenever you want to speak, you have to pause the video, for example. Or whenever you speak to somebody, you have to make sure they're listening to you, so they have to be quiet. And when they speak to you, you have to be quiet, you have to listen. This is taking turns. Taking turns means this. And whenever we have an academic discussion, because we say taking turns in discussion, not between friends. In discussion, you have to have some roles. Take the floor, it means you interrupt others. Okay? And hold the floor to stop another person interrupting. So somebody wants to interrupt it, wants to stop you, but you are holding the floor. It means you continue speaking. You don't give them the chance. But whenever you take the floor, it means you interrupted another speaker and you are starting to speak. Hand over whenever you give the speaker the mic, whenever you give the role of speaking to somebody else, to another speaker. And these are the language of discussion. These are very important, guys. I got it from your books. You have to make use of these. So for taking the floor, you can use these expressions. For holding the floor, you can make use of these. For handing over to other speakers, you can use these. The final point is using dictionary. How should we use dictionary? Using dictionary is very important, guys. Like, there are certain points that you have to do. Like, if your dictionary is just telling you the meaning in the target language, well, that's not a good dictionary. Your dictionary should tell you the meaning first. Second, the translation in your language, like the Kurdish translation. It should tell you the spelling of the word. It should tell you the plural or the past tense of the verb. And you should get the grammatical information about the word, like what kind, so some certain grammatical information. Is there any synonym? Is there any antonym? A word that has similar meaning, or antonym means a word that has opposite meaning. Look up the collocations, like that word goes with which other words. For example, I don't say make a picture. We say take a picture, take a picture, take a photograph, take a photograph. We don't say make a photograph. We don't say do a photograph. We say take a photograph. So this is collocation. Take goes with photograph. Photograph goes with take. This is collocation. Like, it means which two words go together. And parts of speech, like, is that word adjective? Is that a noun? Is that a verb? Adverb? Okay? Conjunction, what? Okay? Find out how to say a word. The pronunciation of the word. Like, for example, the word, for example, Japan. Japan. Yeah, in Kurdish we say Yaban. The people don't know how to say Japan. They say Japan. That's wrong. That's Kurdish. That's Kurdish-like. In English, they say Japan. Japan. Or they say, for example, Italy. Italy. So if you have to know how to say the word. If you say Italy, Italy, that's wrong. People don't, regard this. People feel strange whenever if you say Italy or if you say Italy. That's wrong. You have to say Italy, Italy. I mean, the pronunciation, the word stress, very important. And find examples of the use of a word in natural language. It's the must that you have to find the word, you have to see the word in some examples, how it's being used. And finally, we move to the homework, guys. This is your homework. please read the points clearly. You have to speak for 2 minutes and record your voice and send it to me about one of the following points. How do you rate yourself using the 7 types of intelligence? Okay, like are you a person who is good at spatial intelligence, or bodily kinesthetic intelligence, or are you good at let's say linguistic ability or mathematical ability? So which one you're good at? Or a person might be intrapersonal, another person might be interpersonal. I want you to talk about these seven intelligence, these 7 types of intelligence, and rate yourself. Or you can pick the second one, talk about your good and bad, what are you good at and what are you bad at, your strength and your weaknesses. What are the study habits of successful students? What are the habits of unsuccessful students? So you can talk about 2 points together, why not? But it shouldn't be more than 2 minutes. It should be less than 2 minutes, guys. Kindly record your own voice and send it to me. If you don't know how to send it, how to submit to an assignment, please go to the other video I have posted for you, and there's also in my YouTube channel. See the video and send it that way. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, press the like button, and if you want to get all my videos, press that subscribe button. And I hope you enjoyed and learned those study skills, those most important points. And I hope you have a great time. Thank you very much indeed.